Hey guys, and welcome to a brand new video here on FPL Now. I hope you're all having a fantastic summer so far, but the game is now live, the new season is nearly upon us, and we're going to be going over my first FPL draft today. So if you're excited for the video, drop a like down below, leave a comment, what is your first draft looking like, subscribe if you're brand new, and let's get into the video. So, obviously, this season in FPL has had some major changes, most notably being able to roll 5 free transfers now. I don't think it's really going to play as much as an impact as people think. I can't myself remember a time where I was being able to roll at least 3 transfers or was in a position where I was going to be able to do that, let alone 5. There's always something going on. Injuries, players getting dropped, obviously price changes and stuff like that are always impacting people's decisions on whether to make a transfer or not. So yeah, being able to save 5 free transfers is good, but I think it's more so for the casual players. If they maybe forget a couple of weeks and then want to get back into it, they'll have a few free transfers to kind of sort their team out. Whereas I think if you're locked in, you're going to never really be in a position where you're going to have that much that many free transfers at your disposal. I just think there's always going to be something going wrong. Obviously, the other big changes are the BPS system. You know, goalkeepers now making a penalty save. It used to be like kind of guaranteed 3 bonus points, but now that's going to be shook up a little bit. Obviously, conceding goals is a big minus for defenders and goalkeepers. Obviously, fouls, ones now getting played into it, shots on target, stuff like that. So it's definitely going to favor a lot of the more attacking players as opposed to the defenders, which is why there's going to be like a massive price hike with certain players like Haaland, who's 15 mil, which is, by the way, an insane amount of money. But it is what it is. Like, it's going to benefit him on the bonus points 100%. So yeah, there's that, and then also obviously this new mystery chip in January, which I don't even think FPL know what that's going to be. I think we're just going to cross that bridge when we get to it and hope that it's pretty good. It's weird though, introducing a chip halfway through the season though. I just don't know how that's going to work. But either way, that's kind of all the stuff that I really wanted to talk about the new changes and stuff like that. I'm sure we'll get more of an idea of whether it's good or not as we get into the season. But either way, let's get into my first draft for game week 1. This isn't really something that I've thought about a lot. It is just literally something that I threw together, and I'm going to take more of a note about as we kind of progress through these next couple of weeks, because obviously there'll be transfers and stuff like that, players being brought in, players taking out, and I'll just continuously update you guys on my draft. I'll go over like transfer stuff and everything like that as well, as we kind of go through these kind of preseason videos. But either way, in goal we do have Sanchez and Ward. Ward's obviously just 4 mil. Sanchez is my playing goalkeeper at 4.5 mil, or at least I think he's going to be my playing goalkeeper. I'm not completely settled on Sanchez at the moment. He is 4.5. Obviously there's other options as well that are 4.5 mil. It's just we don't really know who's going to be that Chelsea number 1. The new manager could either bring Sanchez back in as a number 1 or just keep the old goalkeeper last season as the number 1 still. So that's going to be something that we take a look at. Hopefully we get some information about that. If he comes out and says, oh, Sanchez is going to be the number 1, then I'll probably go Sanchez. Like, barring their first fixture at home to City, they've got a really nice run of fixtures. Wolves away, Palace, Bournemouth, West Ham, Brighton, Forest. Really, really nice. And I don't mind having a goalkeeper that's got those kind of fixtures coming up at all. So yeah, I don't mind that at all. But at the same time, there are other 4.5 mil goalkeepers that could just be really, really good instead. So I've gone with Sanchez at the moment. But if, like I say, we get any kind of information out, they might even bring in a new goalkeeper. You don't know. We'll obviously cross that bridge when we get to it as well. I do also have a mil left in the bank as well. I just don't really know what to do with it. Like I say, this is a very early kind of team draft. So I've not used all my money up at all, which is just weird because I'm always struggling about what to use money on and stuff. But I'm assuming that 1 mil will definitely get used very, very soon, probably in the next draft, to be fair. But yeah, those are my goalkeepers. Obviously Ward, I don't know if he's going to be a playing goalkeeper, probably not. He's just in there because he's a 4 mil playing, well, he's just a 4 mil keeper really. So that's the goalkeepers. At the back we've got Konza, we've got Mikalenko, we've got Johnson, Trent, and we've also got Dan Burn as well. So I do quite like this back line. Obviously there's no Arsenal or no City, but they're just really, really expensive this year. You know, 6 mil, 5.5 mil for City, like I say, City and Arsenal defenders. Gvardiol is 6 mil as well. So yeah, it's a lot of money really, and I do already have 7 mil on Trent. Like, Trent apparently could even be going to Real Madrid, and if that's the case, then obviously I will downgrade him to probably a Gvardiol, and then maybe upgrade somebody to an Arsenal defender or something like that. I could definitely see that being something that I do, but we'll obviously have to see what happens there. But yeah, I've got Konza in here. I mean, they've got some pretty nice fixtures coming up, apart from obviously Arsenal at home, but they've got West Ham away, Leicester, Everton, Wolves, Ipswich. Some really, really nice fixtures, and Konza is probably going to be playing every game as well. I don't see why he wouldn't. Mykolenko, I think, is also a really, really nice shout as well. The fixtures are a little bit hit and miss. They've got Spurs and Villa away in the first 4, but he rotates really nicely with Konza and Burns, so I'm not really too worried about that. He's also a very attacking defender as well, and like I say, they've got a sea of green fixtures after game week 4 as well. They've got Leicester, Palace, barring Newcastle, they've got Ipswich, Fulham, Southampton, West Ham, Brentford. So yeah, really, really nice fixtures. We know the defensive record for Everton as well. You know, Pickford nearly got the Golden Glove last season, so I don't mind having him in my team at all. Johnson, I think, is a bit of a steal, to be fair, at 4 mil. I think he's definitely going under the radar quite a bit. He's just transferred from West Ham to Ipswich, and that's so he gets, like, you know, full time. He's moved because he wants that, like, full, like, playing time. He wants to be getting into the starting 11 every week, and I think that's why he moved. Because if he wasn't going to get that full, like, playing time at Ipswich, he would have just stayed at West Ham. And I know Ipswich obviously isn't going to have the best defense this season. They've got a terrible start to the season as well. Liverpool at home and City away. But I mean, if I ever need to play him against, like, you know, Southampton away or maybe a Leicester at home or something like that, I don't mind it. And he's only 4 mil, and he should be a 90-minute playing defender. So, you know, he's just going to be bench fodder most of the time, but I think he's going to be a little bit of a gem, and I think he's going under the radar quite a bit. So yeah, I'm very happy with Johnson just to stay in my team, really. He's a very good enabler, so I don't mind him at all. And like I say, I'm not going to be playing him every week, but we do have a couple of promoted teams that they're taking on in the first 10 game weeks. So yeah, don't mind having him at all for that. Also gone Trent as well. I think Trent's going to be a really, really a good player to own at the start of the season. Ipswich away and then Brentford at home, really nice. Obviously United away is very hit and miss with Liverpool. They either smash them or they get beat. And that's kind of the only 2 options. And then they've got Forest, Bournemouth, and Wolves and Palace as well. So yeah, not bad fixtures at all for Trent. Obviously, if he does end up moving to Madrid, then there's loads of other players I could bring in instead. And if he does move, then I can always bring in a 6 mil defender, and that gives me an extra mil in the bank as well to move on to somebody else that I could upgrade, like my forwards or a midfielder or something like that. But yeah, Trent is in there at the moment, and then Dan Burn as well. Got some nice fixtures at the start of the season: Southampton and Bournemouth, and then Wolves in the first 4. And like I say, rotates really, really well with Mykolenko. Like in game week 3, Spurs they've got Spurs at home, whereas Mykolenko in game week 3 has Bournemouth at home. So obviously, like I say, if you've got 4.5 mil defenders that are rotating really nicely, that it just kind of makes your mind up for you. Obviously, injuries can get in the way of that and affect things and stuff like that. But yeah, you kind of want to start off your game week 1 team with at least the next, like, 3 or 4 fixtures in mind as well. You don't just want a really, really strong game week 1 team that is going to be really bad for game week 2. You kind of need it for the whole situation. But anyway, that's the back line there. In midfield, I've gone Palmer, Eze, Salah, Gordon, and Gibbs White. So I'm playing a 3-5-2 formation for my team. But I feel like Palmer, I just can't go without him. I've seen so many drafts without him. And I understand City at home is a tough fixture. But that sea of green fixtures, he's on pens. I know he's obviously shot up in price to 10.5 mil, but he played really well in the Euros as well. It's just a shame he didn't get more game time. So I'm absolutely fine owning Palmer. I know obviously this draft doesn't have your Sakas and your Fodens and your stuff like that. In fact, this draft has no City players, which is a little bit worrying, especially when they've got that Ipswich game, second game week of the season. And then, like I say, this is early doors as well. It could easily get changed. I could easily upgrade a 4.5 mil defender to a City defender if I wanted to. I've still got a mil left in the budget, so that might even be the case if I really need a City player. But yeah, Palmer, I just don't think I can go without him. I really can't. He's just too good. He's just been so good last season. I think that'll just carry on as well. I'd like to think that Chelsea will be better this season as well. They're making a couple of signings and stuff. So we'll see what happens there. Also gone Eze as well on penalties. Should be anyway. Brentford away, West Ham in the first 2. Chelsea away is not ideal, but then Leicester at home. I think he's just a really nice player. 7 mil as well. Crystal Palace looks really, really good at the end of last season. I think they're going to be pretty highly owned going into this season. And Eze for 7 mil, I think, is a little bit of a steal. I thought it was going to be about 8 mil, to be fair. But for 7 mil, I don't mind that at all, especially if he's on penalties. He looked really, really good in the Euros as well. So, yeah, don't mind Eze at all. Got Mo Salah as well. Probably will be my captain if my team is anything like this in game week 1. Ipswich away. Liverpool always seem to get a newly promoted team in the first fixture. I don't know how they do it. They just always seem to pick them. But yeah, really nice fixtures for Salah as well. And yeah, I mean, we don't know how Liverpool are going to play on the slot. We'll have to see. but I'm still expecting them to hit the ground running and play really, really well. So yeah, Salah's probably going to be my captain that game week. I don't like, even if I had Haaland, I don't think I'd be captaining him anyway, because Chelsea away is not the greatest fixture to have game week 1. I've also gone Gordon as well, Southampton home. Newcastle have some really, really nice fixtures coming up as well. We know how dangerous they were at home as well. They've got Southampton at home, first game of the season. Bournemouth away, Spurs at home, Wolves away, Fulham away. Like, they've got a couple of away fixtures, but I think that Southampton at home fixture, I think Gordon is going to go big in that fixture. Like, we saw how good they were at home last season. I think it's going to be really, really good to have a couple of Newcastle players going into this season. Also gone Gibbs White as well. As a Forest fan, it's finally nice to own a Forest player, but we've actually got some really, really nice fixtures. We've got Bournemouth home, Southampton away, Wolves at home in the first 3. Gibbs White is on penalties as well. Obviously, the Liverpool away fixture isn't ideal, but I can always just play like an extra defender that week if I wanted to. But yeah, as a Forest fan, you can't ask for much better than these fixtures. You know, the first 10 fixtures, you know, 10 are, like, out of the 10, 2 are fixtures that are going to be pretty difficult with Liverpool and Chelsea, but the rest of them we can easily nab points against. So yeah, I don't mind Gibbs White being in my team at all, and I've never owned a Forest player, I don't think, so it's nice to actually have one. So yeah, he's in the midfield, and then up top we've got Watkins, we've also got Isak, and then we've also got Stewart as well. He's just a 4.5 enabler though. I don't know who that would be. If we somehow get a 4.5 million striker, obviously they'll be in my team, but yeah, it's mainly going to be Isak and Watkins. With Isak's home form and the run of fixtures they've got, I feel like he has to be in the team. And then Watkins, we all saw how good he was last season, and Villa have got some really nice fixtures as well, barring Arsenal at home, which obviously I think they won that last season. They've got really, really nice fixtures, a couple of promoted teams as well, Leicester and Ipswich in the first 6, so I don't mind owning Watkins at all. With Douglas Luiz going as well, it's going to be interesting who's on penalties. I think it probably could be McGinn, but again, I'm not a Villa fan, so I wouldn't know. But Watkins could always potentially be on penalties, which would just make him even more of an asset to own. But either way, that's kind of my game week 1 team as of right now. Again, it's just quickly been put together. I'm sure a lot of it will change. Obviously, there's no City, there's no Arsenal, so I'm very sure I'm going to change it at least a little bit to bring in some of those players. But all in all, it doesn't look terrible. Maybe not triple Newcastle. Maybe I'll have to bring in someone for that. But all in all, let me know what your thoughts on this is. Again, I'll probably make a draft like every few days or something as I kind of toy with it and tinker with it and stuff like that. But yeah, there'll be a lot more content this season. Obviously, we'll be doing deadline streams every single week now. We did it once, I think, last season. It went really well. People really enjoyed it. So we'll definitely be doing that. We're doing like transfer targets, transfer plans, team selections, wild cards, free hits, everything like that. And yeah, I don't know if I'm going to beat my rank of 561st last season. That was a bit of a wild one, but we'll see how well we do. But either way, if you enjoy, drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you're brand new, and until next time, have a great rest of your day, and peace.